National Signing Day, and of course, here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, we're all over it. And we go to the West Coast in the Pac-12's premier program, USC. We got Matt Lowry on the line from Conquest Chronicles to talk USC football. Of course, on the field with the Pac-12 championship game coming up against Oregon, the college football ranking. But first and foremost, hey, this is by many measurements the most important day in college football when you bring in the talent, Matt. So how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. It's been a long morning with National Signing Day, or the early signing period as we would call it, and it's been a very I don't want to say a typical one, but it's been a pretty busy one, considering that a lot of recruits are now signing early due to the coronavirus pandemic. On top of, in California, football not starting until until most likely January, February, thanks to the recent CIF update that was put out last night or yesterday afternoon. So we're seeing a lot of recruits signing right now.
USC currently with the second-rated class, according to the 247 Sports Composite, in the Pac-12, number 12 nationally. 12 4-stars, 8 3-stars out of 20 commits. Any last-minute news that may come in regards to guys that are on the fence that may break one way or the other?
We've seen guys like Jake Garcia, who decommitted a few weeks ago, which we kind of knew that was going to somewhat happen because of USC going after Jackson Dart, as well as Miller Moss, who committed early on. So they've brought in 2 quarterbacks in this recruiting class already. But in regards to any surprises, we haven't heard any surprises yet. Now, we do know that a lot of these guys, they've already said early that they were going to, commit early on, that they were going to sign, and that that was a given.
All right. When we look at this class, Matt, who stands out to you? Who's at the top of the board that most people are really excited about?
I would have to say Miller Moss. And the reason why I say him is because he's a 4-star quarterback. But the thing about him is that a lot of people praise his intelligence and his work ethic, is that he can make throws that you don't see a lot of people make. He's a very smart football player, very intelligent football player who wants to get better and better and better each and every time. And that's something you don't hear with a lot of, you don't hear about that from a lot of players, Last time we heard about a QB who can make throws that a lot of people don't make, that's Sam Darnold. And we saw how he panned out at USC. And we saw, he ended up being drafted. I believe he ended up being a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. So, a lot of people are saying he kind of reminds people of him, but his intelligence is just out of this world, which is something you don't see from a young player. So that's someone who a lot of people are very excited about, including Graham Harrell, who said that he has the makings to be a star. So that's one guy who a lot of people are very excited about, is Miller Moss.
When you look down the board, anybody else that you really like that may not necessarily be that highly touted or publicized, but based on some of the reports that you've seen, based on anything that you've seen on tape that you like?
Jalen Smith is somebody who I'm excited for. And the reason for that is because not only he can play corner, but he can play in the slot. He can play as a nickelback. He can play safety. He can even play linebacker for you. So he's someone who I think USC is going to plug around. He's a 4-star. He's a 4-star athlete. He's somebody who I think USC can play right away, especially noting that you have Elijah Griffin, who's going to be a junior. So he's somebody who can play right away, who can slide into that nickel situation, or somebody who you can put in at safety, or you can move him to linebacker. So either way, I think it just depends on how USC and Todd Orlando, how they want to use him, in his freshman year.